Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's the In Wheel Time car show. On today's 3-hour live program, we check in with West Coast car king Jack Nerad and the booming internet sales phenomenon in automobiles. Mr. Mars reviews the Toyota Supra. Can't wait for that. We talked to John Kraman about the upcoming Houston Mecum auction. We'll also check our weekly events calendar and have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time car show. It's Easter weekend, and it's Saturday, April 3rd, 2021. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff in the corner, Don Armstrong here. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. Let's get right to the left coast, shall we? His name is Mr. Jack Nerad. He's writer, editor, consultant, and host of the radio and podcast show, America on the Road. Jack, it's always good to see you, sir. Turn him on.
Really enjoy it. One of my favorite Saturday pastimes.
Oh, well, we appreciate that.
Kind of like baseball. Did the Cubs win or lose last evening?
Sadly, we lost.
Yep.
We lost our opener, and then we didn't play yesterday. In Chicago, they typically have a day off after opening day, just in case opening day is rained out or snowed out or there's some foul.
Snowed out, yeah.
We didn't play yesterday, but we're back at it today.
Well, the only reason I asked that is because I see the little wall
Wrigley
placard
Field.
there that says Wrigley Field, the home of the Chicago Cubs. So
Absolutely.
I figured, are you from Chicago, Jack?
I am indeed. I am from Chicago, although I have lived in California for about 40 years now. So
I'm sorry.
I guess I could claim California as home, too. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
There's a lot to be sorry about, especially these days. I'm toughing it out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that you are.
Well, do you know that they don't serve beer now at the stadium because they lost the opener?
Lost the opener.
Ching. Yeah, that's why we need more Jeff.
Yeah, we always need more
Leave
Jeff.
him in the corner.
Yeah, put him in the corner. So, Jack, let's talk today, if you don't mind. First of all, what are you driving out of the press fleet today, if you don't mind me asking?
I have a Volvo V60, which
Nice.
is one of those cars that I think only enthusiasts like, but they like it a lot, right? I mean, it's kind of a cool version, Polestar version of the Volvo smaller wagon. And so it's a pretty cool vehicle. But I think, and maybe you guys are not afflicted with this, but I think most enthusiasts are, and especially enthusiast writers and people who talk about cars a lot, is they love station wagons.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they love
Yes.
hot
Yeah,
station
no,
wagons,
huge wagon
right?
fan.
So, I mean, like a V-Series Cadillac station wagon, something like, that just gets us excited. Nobody else in the world cares at all.
Give me a Vista Cruiser. I'll take the
you
Oldsmobile
betcha.
Vista Cruiser.
Heck yeah.
Right.
And Jack's going,
Well, so
you're a fruitcake.
I just had to ask because, we car guys get these press vehicles on occasion, and Jack is in the loop. So
And you call it work.
It is work. That's what I keep telling my wife. I tell her all the time.
Yeah.
I'm working.
Right. Well, Jack, so today I thought that we would talk just a little bit about the internet phenomenon and automobile sales. We just got off the line, and I don't know whether you heard part of that or not, with Gary Emmons down at a local car dealership here. Pre-owned inventory has been a problem. He's got that solved. But prices of used cars have gone through the roof. And it's like I mentioned when we were talking to him, it's kind of like new home, actually any kind of homes here in Texas, you can't find them. They put them up, they ask in market value for them, and then people start bidding on them, and pretty soon
Sell them over list.
over list, and I mean significantly over list. And apparently the car industry is that way, and the used car side anyway. So what are you finding?
Well, I think COVID has changed so many things, and it's changed auto retailing in a big way. And it's, I think, one of the phenomena, I guess, you guys are running into in Texas is a lot of people are moving out of states like mine into states like yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that is driving the housing market. I think it's also probably driving the used car market in Texas as well. A lot of people want to stay out of public transportation. A lot of people have relied on public transportation and are now going, I'm not going to get on that bus. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to stick around with us for a while. So those people are buying used cars. A lot of people are purchasing used cars, and it has changed retailing significantly because people don't want to necessarily go into a dealership and at least spend the amount of time that they used to spend in a dealership.
Well, I think that, right now, I think that if I were going to open a dealership, it'd be right along the border. I think that there would probably be a high demand for cars coming, those illegals coming across the border. Well, they're not illegals anymore, are they?
No, that's another show. So, Jack.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, don't get Conrad started. So,
Don't get any of us started.
exactly. So, but I think also that the concept of when we say used cars, pre-owned, however you want to term it, when I'm thinking a used car, I'm thinking $8,000, $10,000, $12,000. But people now are looking at $30,000 and $40,000 used
easily.
Pre-owned vehicles.
Well, I think, we recently on America on the Road, we did a long segment on certified pre-owned cars, which I think are really brilliant buys by people. Something 2-3 years old, maybe came off a lease, reasonable amount of wear and tear, a few miles on it, got a ton of extra life still in it. And I just think those are great buys. I bought one for my oldest daughter, who happens to be visiting with us from Dallas this week. And it's been terrific. I mean, we actually bought that car from a rental car agency or from Budget Rent-A-Car using their facilities. And it was like buying a certified pre-owned car because it had all that kind of coverage to it. So pretty amazing.
I've seen certified pre-owned sometimes has a better warranty than the original factory does because a CPO may come with a 12-month full warranty on it and then a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty on it when the factory is only offering 60. So I think there's a huge value in the CPOs that are out there.
I think with the Volkswagen we got an extra year more than we would have gotten had we bought a new Jetta. So I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer. It's $4,000 or $5,000 less. Nobody in our neighborhood knew it wasn't a brand new car. It has tons of life in it. She's still driving it 4 or 5 years later. So,
plus in this case, you said she's in Dallas, so your peace of mind to know that she's got something there, and if something breaks, she's got some warranty to work with. I mean, there's a lot of different concepts of value there.
Jack, the only thing and most of us that are having the conversation with you right now are old enough to remember my dad would have never, ever, ever dreamed of buying a car that he didn't see and was able to kick the tires. And now, today, that seems to be the trend. Well, just order it up online.
Shows up on a truck.
And have it delivered to the front of the house, sign the papers, and boom, you're gone. I just can't even imagine being a car guy doing it that way, but apparently most people are.
Yeah,
I don't know if most people are, but I think a lot of people are. And I think opportunities like Carvana, places like Carvana, Vroom, Shift.com, they will at least give you some idea of the car. They'll bring it to you often. I just interviewed the CEO of Shift recently. They will actually bring it to your house, and without you signing on anything, without you necessarily buying, you can try it out for a while, and if you don't want it, they put it back on the truck and off it goes. I don't think Carvana and Vroom do that, however. I think if you're going to get one of their cars delivered to your house, you have already bought the thing. But I think you have often they have a 7-day return policy or something like that. So it's kind of a pig in a poke, as we used to say. And I couldn't agree more with you, Don. I can't imagine buying a vehicle without taking it for a test drive, not just kicking the tires, but driving the darn thing. But a lot of people are willing to do it, and maybe it's okay.
And even within that 7-day return policy, read the policy before you commit, because most of the time that 7-day return policy is returned for credit for something else on their lot. They're not going to give you your money back.
That is such a good point. That's absolutely a great point. And a lot of times you might be on the hook for transportation, and there might be charges that kind of suck you into making a deal with them one way or the other.
Interesting. The only one I've seen lately, the lady across the street during COVID, she drove a car. She's had a particular brand that she's driven for years. She called up the dealership and said, look, I've been looking online. I want a new one, and this is what I want. And all it was an upgrade for her. Went from a 5-year-old vehicle to a new one. And sure enough, they bring it to the driveway. She goes out. She looks at it, cranks it up, drives around the block. And the guy's standing there twiddling his thumbs. And she comes back and says, okay. And he gets in his car and leaves. And it's all done. The paperwork's all done on the internet and everything.
Right. And I think that's where we're going with a lot of this. And I think one of the things that's driving this is even those of us who are used to buying cars and have bought cars for decades don't want to spend a half a day or a day in the dealership just doing the deal. We'd like to do a lot of this stuff at home, sitting on the couch, sitting at our desk, get the paperwork done. And then when you go into the dealership, you do the stuff that you really need to do. When you see the car, you do the test drive, you sign the paperwork if they need an inked signature on the paperwork, and it's a whole different thing. It just makes it better. And I really think that the online buying thing is not going to come from the Carvanas and Brooms of the world. I don't think they're going to replace the current car dealer. I just think our car dealers, both new and used car dealers, are going to get better at selling vehicles online. Many of them are really great at it already. Mm-hmm. And the consumer is going to pick how much time they spend online and how much time they spend in the dealership. And I think that's the trend of the future. Not 100% buying online, but not doing nothing online either.
Yeah, that the new car dealers are having. Negative. Yeah, they're having to adapt to where the market's moving. And the old days of going and letting them bid on your trade, and then for the next 3 hours they can't find your keys to your used car because the used car guys got them somewhere, and they're just trying to throw you in the box and get you to buy something, anything. Here, sign, right. Press hard. There's 7 copies.
I mean, everybody is researching online, so they're paying attention to things. They should know the value of their trade-in vehicle or have a pretty good idea, but when they're walking in, they should have a pretty good idea of the transaction price, what the car that they're buying is going for. If they do any kind of research at all, they should have a pretty good sense of how the deal should go together. And that actually works great for the dealer, too. There's a lot of wasted time in the dealership by dealer personnel just dealing with stuff that takes time, and it's better for the dealer when everybody's getting together as well as it is for the consumer.
Jack, where's a good place to go and find the value of your car? How does that work?
There's several good places. Where I go now, and maybe I'm a little prejudiced against my old employer, but I go to NADA Guides these days, NADA Guides, and which will soon be J.D. Power valuation. That's a great place to get the value of your trade-in vehicle, a great place to get the value of new cars too. I was literally online with them yesterday as I was writing a story about a Jeep Cherokee and checking prices on new vehicles, and you get invoice pricing. You get to see what the transportation. I think we had this discussion about destination charges. Right. Last time we talked. Yeah. I think on the Jeep Cherokee, just for example, are over $1,000. It's like $1,049 or something like that in transportation charges. But that's a great place to get that information. Edmunds is another great place, I think, to get.
And the consumer, the smart consumer does that. Even going to buy a new car, they know because the information's available to them to the penny what the new car dealer's cost is on the vehicle. Now, they might not understand holdback fees and stuff like that, but all of that information's available to them, and it gives them a position to negotiate with a lot of knowledge. But they also have to understand that the reason that guys in that big building and the big shop in the back and stuff, they're not there to give cars away. They
got to make money. Everybody's got to make a little bit of money.
And I think the consumer typically understands that, right? You don't go to a grocery store and expect them to give you the food for free, right?
Exactly.
They have to make a reasonable profit, and we're all happy that happens.
Right. Yeah, I just don't want him planning his Hawaiian vacation off of my purchase.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the orthodontist, I think, who does that.
That's the politician.
Yeah, exactly. Farther and farther, yeah. Absolutely. One of the things that's interesting about buying cars is it's a big purchase, right? I mean, it's a large purchase, and I think typically the typical transaction price now, or the median transaction price, is way over $35,000, and yet people buy them as an impulse. It's like picking up a pack of gum at the checkout counter at the grocery store. It's just kind of nuts that people are spending that amount of money and not thinking it through very much. And I know that from having studied this for years and years and years, and written a book about car buying as well. So it's really interesting that with all the information available online, how little research many people do about this.
So what do you think, Jack, is going to happen now with this chip shortage? I just read a story on about the fact that more and more, as the days click off, there are going to be more and more. I'm sorry?
Nothing. Go.
There are going to be more and more shortages as to, if somebody wants to find a Jeep Cherokee, for instance, one of the vehicles that is really being limited as far as production is concerned because they don't have enough chips out there. What is that going to do? Is it going to push the buyer to some other brand, some other make? Is it going to keep them out of the market? Are they going to go to the used market? What are your feelings on that?
Yep.
I think some will wait, but I think a lot of people will go to an alternative vehicle. Although with the vehicle that you pointed to, Jeep Cherokee, I think people who want a Jeep want a Jeep. So, and I think people who say want an F-150 are not necessarily going to go over and buy a Ram. I think there's a lot of loyalty for some of these folks, and I think they will wait. But it's a problem for the industry. And it's a problem not just because you won't find any F-150s, or you won't find any Cherokees, or you won't find any, pick a vehicle affected, but you won't find it in the color you want, with the equipment you want, and thus you're less likely to buy it. And that's going to put off sales for a while.
Right. Do you think that? See
exactly when you want it?
Yeah.
I mean.
Do you see people here in Houston, for instance, if they want a specific vehicle and can't find it within 100 or even 250 miles from Houston, that they'll go out of state to find it?
I think it's possible. It depends on how gung-ho they are about that particular model and color. We were just talking about online sellers, and some online sellers are hiking vehicles around the country all the time, expecting people to pay $200, $300, $400 or more for transport for a used car that maybe they could have got almost just like it in the local market if they're in any kind of metro area. Pretty much everything is to be had in a large metro like Houston, certainly. So I guess it remains to be seen, and I think partly it has to do with how absolutely committed that buyer is to that car or that truck, and with that amount of equipment.
What are they willing to pay?
Yeah. Jack, do you recall several years ago, there used to be mainly guys, out there that offered a car buying service and it was mainly for more well-to-do people, that they didn't want to bother with that
brokering,
that they wanted to have a certain particular type of car, and the buyer or broker would go out and search it, and they would charge a fee for doing that. I have not heard one thing about that in years. Is that still something out there?
It is still something out there, but it has kind of grown in a way, or maybe matured in a different way. I mean, you guys certainly know about TrueCar, and I interviewed the president of TrueCar, who actually happens to live fairly close to me. We actually have mutual friends, and our wives know each other, that kind of thing.
Over there in the Malibu area.
TrueCar, yeah, hardly. Yeah, not really. But they do that, and they do that for a lot of different affinity groups. They've just signed a deal with Navy Federal Credit Union. And so if you use Navy Credit's car buying service, which is essentially a car brokerage, what you're going to get is a TrueCar experience. And you're going to have pretty much what you were talking about, Don. you kind of put yourself in their hands, and then they go out and find the car for you at a particular price. It's probably discounted off the MSRP, and you make a deal. You're probably going to finance it through Navy Federal, and everybody's pretty happy with that situation. I'm not sure that it's a way necessarily to get the lowest price, but it is a way certainly to avoid a lot of the hassle involved with dealing with the dealer. At the same time, I think a lot of dealers are getting really great about not making it a hassle for people, right, and giving people a much clearer and direct path to buying a vehicle.
And are you finding that as availability on the new car lots is depleting because of inventory issues, that and the new car price or the used car prices are elevating again because of inventory issues? How far do you think that's going to go as this price rush to the top is happening right now?
Well, I'm kind of curious to see where we're going with the economy, right? I mean, the stock market has stayed, actually been going up over the course of the last several months. We are seeing a recovery. There was, I think, the jobs report or the unemployment report yesterday or the day before was very, very strong. So that indicates a fairly strong economy. So that's going to put pressure on both new and used car sales. I mean, when the economy is going well and people are getting back into employment, they're liable to buy vehicles. At the same time, I'm wondering how long this is going to go. I don't know what's going on with fuel prices in Houston. But fuel prices in California have gone up at least 35% in the last 2 months.
Same here.
I think I paid $2.65
we're
a gallon.
$4 a gallon gasoline here, and that has a chilling effect overall. When you have fuel prices go way, way up, I mean, certainly people are not about to step up to larger vehicles, maybe not to a vehicle at all. Of course, then you have people who don't want to be on public transportation, so you have that. Yeah, a bunch of different factors are working probably in different directions.
Jack, it is an absolute pleasure to talk to you, as we always do, and I love this once-a-month thing because we get caught up and find out what the latest trends are, and right now with used car sales off the charts, it's great to have your insight, as always. Let's talk again next month, get caught up, and see what you got cooking.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Happy Easter to all of you guys in Wheel Time. I so appreciate talking to you every month.
Well,
thank you.
You too,
Happy
Jack.
Easter to you as well.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Jack. So Jack is the writer, editor, consultant, and host of the radio and podcast show, America on the Road. We encourage you to look him up and join the fun. Time now for the events calendar. We got plenty of events coming up. The weather's getting good, and let's go.
April 10th, the Woodlands Car Club. They coordinate the Coffee and Cars for a Cause up in the Woodlands. Last year or this year, they're working on the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, National Alliance for Mental Health, the Assistance League, and Yes to Youth. So they're getting an opportunity to fund all of those charities. And I believe their Yes to Youth fundraiser is tomorrow. Sunday, April 11th, is the Twin Peaks meet in Webster. The Lone Star Rod and Custom Roundup in Austin, Texas is April 16th. Saturday, and then the Bluebonnet Cruise is Saturday, April 17th. And that's going to meet at Buc-ee's in Waller at 8:30 a.m. and head out through the Bluebonnets. And then Houston Motorsports Park. Houston Motorsports Park tonight is NASCAR.
Yeah. And let's not forget that we've got coming up, the Houston Auto Show is coming up in May. And we also have tickets on sale for the 34th Annual Mopar Express Lane NHRA Spring Nationals over in Baytown, May 21st through the 23rd.
Keels and Wheels, May 1st.
Yep, we're going to be at both of those events.
Lots of stuff.
I wanted to also mention the fact that the Hot Rod Power Tour and Drag Weeks have been announced. And Power Tour is going to kick off Monday, August 23rd in Norwalk, Ohio, and then head on out for a 5-day road trip. I want to do this so bad.
Me too.
And going to go over to Champaign, Illinois. Then
they're hanging up in that central Midwest. They need to come back down to Texas.
I agree, but not in August. Drag Week is going to be it's going to start in Motorsports Park in Martin, Michigan. And then it's going to move to Norwalk, Ohio, Indianapolis, Byron, Illinois, and then back to Martin, Michigan again. That's going to be September the 12th. Let's see. Yes, September the 12th through September the 17th. So there's that. If you're into hot rods and drag week and power tour. All right. Time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars has a look at the 2021 Toyota Supra. We got to see it last weekend.
Yes. I got.
I don't know how I got in and out of the car.
I saw you get in. I was concerned about how we were going to get you out.
Yeah, well,
that yellow beast.
And I learned something this week. It's not the 2021 Toyota Supra. It is the 2021 Toyota GR Supra, and the trim is the 3.0 Premium.
The GR.
Yeah, it's the GR. The GR. Anyway, so I also learned that the first Supra came out in 1978. I didn't realize it was quite that old. And the one that we happen to have is in this bright nitro yellow color that you can see here on the screen.
Is that what you're looking at the video? Nitro is the color?
Nitro yellow.
That's pretty neat.
And if you're looking for some way to kind of describe the size of this vehicle, the 86 Coupe that is also one of their products, this actually has a wheelbase that's 4 inches shorter. So it kind of creates some overhang up front and over back. So that's where you can see in and see all this very sculpted design body lines here with a lot of vents and stuff in them. Bulging fenders, got a double bubble roof setting up on top of it so you can get a little headroom up there. And so when you look at it from the side with the profile, you get this very distinct look on it. Got the long hood, the duckbill rear section, the treatment on it kind of flips up. A lot of that's treatment back towards the first gens, and it's got, like I say, you can see all the vents and things that are on it as well. And now you get into the things that kind of go along with it. Then you get into the 6-lens auto LED headlights. They're auto leveling LED headlights. You got the LED daytime running lights and the tail lights. It's all LED all over the place. You got all the vents along the body lines. You got auto folding heated side mirrors, and it rolls on some really nice 19-inch 10-spoke wheels. And our particular vehicle was equipped with the Brembo brakes that you can see the red calipers behind the wheels. So you slide into the interior. Now, this is when I say slide into the interior.
Fall into the interior.
Yeah. Because once you get into it,
you ain't getting out.
It's snug. It's a snug seats are very bolstered. You've got everything within real easy reach of you. So you're sitting on some leather seats that are heated. There's only 2. This is a 2-passenger vehicle. You got an 8.8-inch touchscreen that's got the where you can see all your stuff, including your heads-up display. And then you've got the gauge pod is also 8.8 inches. And one thing I liked about the gauge pod, I'll spit it out here in a minute, is when you look at it, it's a tack. The big gauge is the tack. See if it'll roll one more. And off to the side in this box, it's about an inch square, is where the speedometer is. So when you see this big 6-inch round gauge up there, it's really just a tack. So you're looking at it, and it's
so as you're doing what you think is 60, you're winding out at 6,000 RPM.
That's exactly
in
it.
5th gear, which is like 150 miles an hour.
This thing is rolling.
Unless it's kilometers.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got all the other features, the wireless phone charging, and the Super Command is the mouse console down by the console that actually handles all that. No. I had to lean over to see some of the buttons to see them. It just didn't work for me.
No, I don't do a mouse on the center console.
It did have a 12-speaker JBL audio system with 2 of the bigger speakers. The woofers are sitting right behind the seats. Now, that thing would rock. It's a small cabin space, but it would light that world up.
Margaritaville any better, huh?
I'm telling you.
Didn't the Supra used to be the Toyota Celica?
Yes, that's where it was generated out of.
The first generation was a Toyota Celica.
And it was a 4-seater.
That had a... Yeah. That had a 6-cylinder in it. And then the second generation was the same thing. It's kind of a Celica chassis with a 6-cylinder in it. And they were 4-seaters.
And so we get up under the hood real quick. We had the 3.0 inline 6-cylinder turbo. There is a new 2.0 out, but I didn't get that one. So this is 382 horsepower, 368 pound-feet of torque with an 8-speed automatic transmission and the paddle shifters. There is no manual gearbox available for this. So the EPA says you should be looking for about 22 miles to the gallon on the city, about 30 miles per gallon on the highway, combined for 25. I will tell you, I did make it a point, you can get, I believe, 22 in the city, and I do think that you could get 30 out on the highway. In fact, I did get 30 on the highway. Now, the combined 25 for the week, I didn't get that. I got a lot less.
Well, it's because you're heavy-footed.
Well, they say it'll do 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds, and I believe that based on what I could find. But it also says it's 155 mile per hour top speed. I can't validate that. So if I was going to change anything as far as the driving, the performance of it, I loved it. I wouldn't do anything. The ride handling, it is very firm. It's very sports car-ish. It's got the adaptive dampeners on it, and it's electronic rear differential, 13.7-inch front disc brakes on it. It's a lot of great things there. So if you're looking for something to compare it to, you might look at the BMW Z4 that starts at about $63,700. The Jag F-Type sets up around $61,000, or even a Corvette at $60,000, two-seater vehicles. Now, you can get the base Toyota Supra 3.0 Premium. It is going to start at $50,990. Now, the MSRP on the vehicle as tested that we had is $57,185, and it includes a 1-year National Auto Sports Association membership that gets you some driving lessons and things like that, and has a heck of a warranty on it for a hot rod.
Thank you. All right. Time now for a quick break here on the In Wheel Time Show. I want to remind you that our show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcasts, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Amazon, and Podcast Addict. In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break.
So when I went out, the Tailpipes and Tacos monthly cruise-in has become so popular, you'll be able to attend at more locations. Enjoy fabulous Houston car culture at any of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurants. Tailpipes and Tacos will be held in Tomball at Highway 249 near 2978, Bay Area Boulevard near the Gulf Freeway in Webster, the Grand Parkway just south of I-10 and Katy, and the Kirby location off the Southwest Freeway. Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and awesome cars. Mark your calendar for Saturday, April 17th for the next Tailpipes and Tacos at one of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Mexican restaurants, 8 to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. See collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in this friends and family event. Start your Saturday off right at Houston's hottest cruise-in. Tailpipes and Tacos, April 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. Participating Lupis are located in Tomball, Katy, West University, and Clear Lake. April 17th. In Real Time will be broadcasting from the West University location on the Southwest Freeway, weather permitting. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.